Neuropathy in the feet can be peripheral neuropathy related to diabetes, chemotherapy, or other unknown causes. My name is Kelly. I am a physical therapist that specializes in lymphedema and lymphatic health as well as oncology. And in today's video, I'm going to share the top exercises to do for neuropathy in the feet and in the toes. If you'd like to see these as a printout or a handout, you can find these on my website as well as other exercises or printouts, which I will link up above as well as down below. Also be sure to subscribe down below for weekly new videos, and you can also follow along with us on Instagram for more related content. These exercises are safe to do as long as someone is cleared by their doctor to do them. It's great to start with about 10, maybe up to 15 of each of these movements, but we want to make sure that we try to avoid doing an excessive number of these because sometimes this wakes up the nerves too much and it can cause an increase in irritation or symptoms. So starting with 10 or 15 and not going past that is a good place to think about or a good place to start. These all don't need to be done at the same time or same day either. Picking 2 or 3 of these is a great place to start, and you can switch off day to day or you can alternate. That's just fine as well. So one exercise to do in sitting for neuropathy in the feet is just do ankle rolls or circles with your ankles. Going back and forth either direction is fine. If someone's looking for something to do just for time, we can also just draw the ABCs with our foot. Like you would be writing the ABCs, you're just drawing with your toes and your ankle to get that motion. Just making sure that we're getting some blood flow to the ankles, to the feet, and that can help with the nerves. Something simple someone can do, watching TV, reading a book, anytime they're lounging. This is a great simple one to start with. We also want to make sure that we're stretching out our muscles as well. Tightness can irritate some of the muscles as far as the lower body as well. So one stretch is going to be to stretch out the hamstrings or the back of the thigh muscles. And to do that, I like to sit towards the edge of a chair, making sure it's a sturdy chair. Having our heel out in front of us with our knee fairly straight. It's okay to have a slight bend of the knee. We just don't want a lot of a bend. So having a semi-straight knee, either one, just one at a time first. From there, we can sit up nice and tall from our chest. And we want to lean forward at our hips. We don't want to just slump down in the stretch. We want to be up nice and tall and gently lean into it. You'll feel a nice tension in the back of the thigh. Again, a slight knee bend's okay. We just don't want extremely bent. So a little bit of bend is okay. Holding this without bouncing, we want to make sure that it's gentle and a mild, moderate stretch. Holding that for 10, 20, 30 seconds, depending on what someone can tolerate. Keeping it mild to moderate. Come out of it. Same thing on the other side. Sitting up nice and tall. Knee is fairly straight, leaning forward from our hips till we feel a mild to moderate stretch behind the thigh. Holding that for 10, 20, or 30 seconds, keeping it nice and gentle, and then coming out of it, and then I would repeat that 2 or 3 times on each side. Another stretch to do is to focus on the lower legs or the calf muscles. So I'm going to be using a stretch strap specifically. It has different hooks to hold on to. I will put a link for this specific one in the description box down below, but someone can grab a belt, a sheet, anything that is long that they can get around. So I'm going to hook that around the ball of the foot, so below the toes, holding on to the other end. We want to sit up nice and tall. Knee should be straight or fairly straight. And from there, I'm just pulling with my arms, pulling the strap upwards to bend the ankle up and the toes up towards the head. We should feel a mild to moderate stretch in the calf or behind the lower leg. Some people might feel this behind the knee. There are some calf tendons that run right above the knee, so you might feel those as well. If you have a little bit more of a bent knee, you might feel this a little lower. There are 2 separate muscles in the calf, so it just depends. If you have a little more bent knee, you'll feel it lower. Straighter knee, you'll feel it higher. You might want to do both, but gently holding this, no bouncing, mild to moderate stretch, nice and relaxed. And then we'll go ahead and switch out. Do the same thing on the other side. So knee fairly straight if you want, pulling with that strap, pulling those toes towards the head, get a nice stretch in the calf. If we want to bend the knee just a little bit, pull nice and strong, we might feel that a little lower. 10, 20, 30 seconds, whatever feels good. And then relaxing, and then repeating that a couple times on each side. Another exercise we can do is going to be bending at the knee and also flexing the ankle back and forth. This will help getting some blood flow to the whole leg to help with the nerves as well. So it would be standing with some support, either at a countertop or the back of a chair, something sturdy, bending the knee back and then pumping the ankle back and forth and relaxing back down. So it's going to be kicking back, pump the ankle, and back down. We alternate back and forth, bending at the knee and then giving an ankle pump at the top, back and forth a couple times, alternating, doing 10 or 15 on each side, or just kicking back and forth if the ankle's too much, just to get some blood flow towards those nerves in the lower legs and in the feet. Now there are also some exercises that we can do in standing to help with neuropathy in the feet and the toes. One would be hanging on for balance. We can go up on our toes, coming back down, and then lifting our toes up, going onto our heels. Going up and down, back and forth, 10 to 15 times. Getting a nice muscle activation in our calf area and the muscles around our ankle and our foot. So making sure that when we go up onto our heels, we're not just sending our hips back, but rather just lifting from the toes and then going back and forth 10 to 15 times. Another exercise we can do to activate the muscles in the back of the leg is to do kickback. So bending at our knee, kicking our heel towards our bottom and then coming back down and alternating legs back and forth 10 to 15 times. I prefer to alternate so someone doesn't have cramping in one leg, giving one side a break, going back and forth. One also can do marching in place, so hanging on for balance as needed, or going for a walk if someone's comfortable, bringing our knee up in front of us and alternating with marching, making sure that we're standing up nice and tall for posture to get activation in our hips as well as our core while we do the marching to get some blood flow in the legs. Neuropathy can affect balance, so we want to train those muscles as well and train our proprioception. So we can stand on one foot. This might be challenging for some people individually, but we can put one foot on the ground, lift one up, hang on for balance as needed, and then when you're ready to try to lift your hand away from the countertop or surface that you're holding onto to see if you can hold our balance. It's best to look at one place to start. We also want to make sure that we keep our hips level. It tends to be that if we let our hips drop and get weak on that hip, that we tend to want to fall. So making sure our hips stay level, nice and strong, and then trying to let go to see if we can hold our balance. It's great to be able to do this for 10 seconds at least, working up to 20 seconds, but this can help stimulate the nerves as well as working on proprioception and balance, which can be affected by neuropathy. Another thing we can do is to help to stimulate the nerves using tactile stimulation of some sort. That's called desensitization. So one thing we can do is find a ball. A lot of people have a tennis ball, lacrosse ball, something like that, even a golf ball around the house. You can either find a textured ball. This is just has a little texture to it. Someone can use a spike ball, which I think is really nice. I don't have one with me, but I'll link one in the description box down below that works really well for this. And we just want to roll out the bottom of our foot on the ball, and that can just help massage out some of the muscles, do some myofascial release, plantar fascia release, as well as get some blood flow, and then start to stimulate the nerve endings as well with that tactile sensory cue. And so putting it on the ground, what we can do is just roll our foot on the bottom of this ball, just back and forth, doing circles in either direction, up and down and around in different ways, whatever feels good. I would spend 2, 3, maybe up to 5 minutes on each foot. You can do that once or twice, and that can be done a few times throughout the day. Another way to do desensitization is to use dry rice or dry beans. We put those in a bucket. We can put our foot or our feet in the bucket and just play around or move around with our toes and our feet in that dry rice or dry beans. What this does, it gives a tactile stimulation for the nerve endings to help calm down those sensory nerves. When you get tingling or numbness, pins and needles feeling, using that tactile stimulation can try to help calm them down and help decrease those side effects or those symptoms. So spending 3 to 5 minutes at a time is a great place to start. That can be done a few times throughout the day. We can also place marbles or coins inside the bucket of dry rice or dry beans and try to, without looking, try to find all of those objects, just something to do while you're working through that to help with that stimulation. And a last way to help with desensation of the feet with neuropathy in the feet is to do towel scrunches. So we put our foot on top of a washcloth or a towel and gently try to pick up the towel with our toes. This will help activate the muscles in the bottom of the foot to help stimulation with getting blood flow to the area and help with the muscles and the nerve endings to the muscles. What we want to make sure we do is we don't overdo it because a lot of people can cramp up in these muscles. So just starting with 5 or 10 on each side, maybe once or twice, and doing it a couple times throughout the day is a good place to start. And those are a few exercises for neuropathy in the feet and the toes. Be sure to work with a physical therapist in your area for more personalized guidance, and you can check out the other videos on my channel for more exercises. If there's any other topics that you want to see covered in a video, feel free to comment that down below. Otherwise, we'll see you all in the next video. Thanks, everyone.